All right, so today I'm going to be talking about what it's like to have real friends for the first time, in my experience. So, on the screen here, I've got some examples of my favorite sort of friendship groups in fiction. So, on the left, obviously, got the Straw Hats, Goated Crew, and I like how they're just so chill with each other. And then got the cast of Friends over there, which is honestly iconic. They've like, yeah, they're the biggest friendship group on TV. Then you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Goated, and then on the right hand side, underrated game, or maybe overrated, depends who you ask. Persona 5, the Phantom Thieves. They're a nice crew of friends. They meet, they got their own little like dramas, but it brings them closer together. So yeah, Elite Game if you've not played it. But anyways, so I'll talk about what it was like for me growing up without many friends. So like I said, I didn't have many friends growing up. I felt like I always stuck out a bit. So, and there's probably a lot of reasons for that. Some probably well warranted. So I was really into anime growing up and like playing games. And back when I was growing up, at least, that wasn't really cool. Like it's not like now where it's like the cool thing to be into. There were times where when we were in our IT classes, I'd be like looking up like, oh, Super Saiyan 6 on, or like Super Saiyan 100 on Google, and I'd hear like over the corner of my ear like, oh look, Raller's looking at Dragon Ball Z, what loser, and like all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm just trying to live my life, but I'm getting bullied for it. And apart from that, like I wasn't really the most athletic kid. So when all the kids in school were at lunchtime playing football, I wasn't really the one getting picked to play along with them because I was pretty shit at football. Apart from that, yeah, it just meant that I didn't have many people to hang out with during my lunch times. And there was this one nice thing my school did. It was called the like Oasis Club or Oasis Group, and it was basically if you didn't have anyone to play with when you were in school, you can go to this club and play with them. So like, do like board games and stuff like that, which is really nice actually. But the problem was just a bunch of like separately lonely people hanging out together. So we didn't really ever like bond and become friends. It just kind of made me realize like, oh, there's other people like me, but we're not all friends together, if you know what I mean. And I was envious of people in my school who used to hang out together after school. Like I wanted to have like people to hang out with after school, like go watch movies, go like play games, or go play football, go and play in the park with. And the few friends I did end up making in school, like I had like one or two like friends every now and then. But the problem was they either like leave school, or there was one time my friend actually moved countries, and that was the first friend I made when I moved to like, it was called secondary school here. I guess if you're American, it could be called middle school. So yeah, he was like my only friend for 2 years. Then he left, and I was just alone for the rest of my middle and sort of like high school life. So yeah, I really felt like Millhouse over there, just like no one to play with, or like Naruto as well. It's like stuck by yourself while you see other people living their lives having fun. And oh yeah, you see Dewey there in the corner playing on his Game Boy, and I think that's how I kind of coped for so long. Just like just me and my Game Boy, my Nintendo DS, is playing Pokemon for so long. That's yeah, my DS and my Game Boy were probably my best friends growing up. So yeah, that was that. And then once I got into sixth form, that's like high school for any Americans. That's when I feel like I made my first sort of like actual, some decent friends actually. So it was a new school, so maybe it was a fresh start. That's why I was able to make some friends, and it was nice to have people to hang out with. But it was a pretty big group, so I didn't really know anyone very well. So we'd like go watch movies, we'd go to parties, do this and do that, but I didn't really connect with anybody. And I always felt like I was in the outer circle. Maybe it's because I joined the friendship group like a while after they'd already been friends, but I see that I wasn't always invited to hang out with them. So yeah, being like an anxious teenager, like I go on like my Snapchat stories and I see a lot of my friends hanging out, and I was like, oh, it would have been nice if you guys invited me to join. I would have loved to like go 2 hours and go play games, or go play bowling or this and that. So yeah, it just felt like I was kind of left out early, an option to some of these people, which wasn't great. So, and I felt like I had to work to stay friends with them. So like I'd be the one to always schedule the hangouts, or I'd be the one to always message first. But if I didn't speak to them, I wouldn't really get anything back. So that wasn't nice. And oh yeah, one other story before I forget. When I was in sixth form, there was this situation where it was my birthday, and I was like, oh, like my birthday, like quite a happy day. But I never really had anything or anybody do, at least in school, anything special for my birthday. And I wasn't expecting anything, of course. So when it was lunchtime, I saw like a bunch of people carrying a birthday cake. And I was like, yo, birthday cake. Like, they bought that for me. It's my birthday today. And then everyone starts singing like, happy birthday to you. And I'm getting all gassed like, oh shit, someone finally remembered it's my birthday. Like, I'm so glad. And singing it, happy birthday to you. And I see them like walking in with a cake, but it wasn't my friends, just some random people. They're walking through with a cake and candles all lit up. And everyone's just singing happy. And while they're singing happy birthday, walked straight past me. It was a different girl's birthday that same day apparently, so everyone was singing along happy birthday to them. Obviously nice for her, but I was like, oh, it'd be nice if I had some friends who do a similar sort of thing for me. And one thing they cracked me up as well actually. So one of my friends, he's a bit of a freestyle rapper, at least at the time. I don't know what he's doing now, and he off the rip, off the top of his head, just thought of like a little diss track about me right then. So it was like, oh, I said a happy birthday to you. They were like, oh, Rolla, they don't rate you. Rolla, they don't rate you. They got a cake, but it wasn't for you. Rolla, they don't rate you. I was like, oh, it's hilarious. But I was like, it's kind of laughing through the pain, man. It's tough shit. So yeah, and then when I made it off into university, I actually met some great people. And obviously I didn't know what it was like to have real friends at the time, so I wasn't sure what to expect. But it was great to have like a group of people that we'd hang out together all the time, like whether we were cooking in each other's flats or we're going to our lectures together, hanging out during like our spring and like summer terms where we were off from studying. And we'd travel together as well. And I was like, oh, it was nice to have like people to travel with for the first time. Went to Switzerland, went to China, and that was around the sort of time where I had my suspicions like, oh yeah, this is like a real group of friends. I'm glad about this. And the other sort of sign for me was that we'd talk beyond the surface about like our life and problems with all my other friends we used to have in the past. Like, we never really talk about anything like too meaningful. We just talk about like football or whatever else. But with my friends that I have now, like, we talk about some real shit. Like if you're feeling down or if you've got a kind of problem or like feeling a bit upset, like I can talk to them about it and we'll pick each other up when we're down, and then vice versa. If one of my friends is down, they'll just happily ring me up. I'm happy to help them out. And it's nice. It feels so effortless to keep in touch with everybody. Like, I don't feel like I have to be the one to always message first. Like, people reach out to me, I can reach out to them, and it's like a fair and even sort of balance. So yeah, I alluded to this before, but I wasn't really sure what it was like to have a real group of friends. But this moment for me made me realize, like, these are some real friends. It was a kind of turning point, a switch in mindset for me. So it's quite a small moment, but massively impactful for me. And what exactly it was, so I didn't have many friends growing up, like I already said. And I got left out of a lot of things, like not getting invited to like people's parties or getting invited to play together. So growing up like this, I wasn't really sure if people wanted me around. But so yeah, grew up like that for like the first 17 to 19 years of my life. So one day my friend, she was discussing her birthday plans, like her plans for a party, and I wasn't sure if she wanted me there or not. So I just asked her, like, oh, can I come to the party? Like, am I invited? And she paused for a second and she looked at me like really confused and like puzzled. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then she said, of course you're invited. And then she carried on talking like really nonchalantly. But I was like taken aback. I was shocked. Like, oh, like, got a picture of like described how I felt. So I was like, oh, so this is what it feels like to have real friends. Like, people that actually want to have you around and actually care about you. So yeah, it was amazing for me. Like, it felt like, yeah, like I said, like the first time someone really wanted me around, and it felt like I was actually part of a real sort of community and circle. So yeah, that was a switch for me to make me realize these are some real friends. And once you got some real friends, your life gets so much better as well. So you got people to support you when you're feeling down, so your lows in life don't feel so bad. And the flip side of that is when you got people to share the positive and fun times with in life, everything feels that much better because you got people to share the joy with. Everything gets a bit amplified, which is sick. So last thing I'm going to talk about now is how to tell if you got some real friends. So you can tell if you got real friends if you're not always the first one to reach out. Like, people reach out to you if you're upset. And one example I had for me, I was feeling quite upset actually one time when I was at uni. forgot exactly the situation, maybe some family stuff, but I feel like in any of my other friend circles, people kind of just leave me alone, let me go about my life. But my friends, what they did was they like come to my flat, like bang on my door, or like they sort of like throwing rocks at my window to make sure I'm okay, like texting and phoning. I was like, oh shit, like people actually care about me. It's pretty nice to know. And yeah, apart from that, like you can talk about anything without feeling like you're being judged by people, and you make time for each other. So now we're adults, obviously we're getting a little bit more busy, but even now that we're busy, we're still scheduling and making time to hang out with each other, and they'll support your ideas and give you real advice. So like if you've got a shit idea, they'll tell you it's shit, but at the same time, if you've got an idea you're not sure about, but they think it's a good idea, they'll support you, they'll back you, they'll be like, yeah, go do your thing, man, go start your businesses, go do your little side hustle, like big ups. And also, like, you want to see each other win. So like if one of my friends is doing really well, like I'm happy for him. I don't feel like, oh, like I wish that was me, or kind of thing. And vice versa as well. Like if I'm doing well, like my friends are there to like, they're like backing me, supporting me, they're just like happy to see us and each other win. And because if you don't really have like a bunch of friends like this, I don't feel too bad. It's quite common actually. So a lot of people don't have real friends like this. So even if you have like one or two people like this in your life, like honestly, you're blessed. So be grateful and cherish your friends. Like make sure you keep in contact, because like as you get older and older, it's harder to make friends. Like it's not impossible. What I'm doing now, like sort of right here, right now, I was just at a language class after work, and just like going out to like these sort of like new events, like you can meet people and it's possible to like make new friends as long as you find people like-minded like yourself. Yeah, it can be done. But yeah, once you make some real friends, cherish them. All right, that's me done yapping. Catch you later.